Hi, my name's Taylor. I'll be your nurse today.
Hi, I'm Terry.
Do you remember me a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, you were part of my depression treatment.
Yeah. How's that been going for you?
I think it's been going pretty well, as good as it could be. I've tried to stay in contact with a lot of my group members from my treatment, and we've kind of been able to meet up and talk to each other. And overall, I think it's going really well. So I'm really proud of the progress that I've made.
That's good. Well, we want to keep that positive progress going and maybe focus it on your smoking.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to discuss that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate all that you could do for me during my depression treatment. So I've never really talked about it with anyone before, but I feel like I would be open to talking with you about it.
Okay, good. Now, have you ever thought about quitting smoking?
It's not really something that I've been doing it for so long, and my father did it. It's kind of just been a habit in my life, so it's not something that I've thought about a lot. But I actually was just recently diagnosed with COPD, so if I was going to think about it at all, now is probably the time that I should probably start thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Have you gotten treatment on your COPD? Have they given you?
Yeah, I went in for shortness of breath, and I was just having trouble exercising and catching my breath, and having some coughing and stuff like that. So I went in, and they're having me take albuterol inhaler twice a day. So it is helping, but my shortness of breath is still there. So
do you still exercise, or?
I've never been one to be very active. I'll walk around, but any sort of like endurance or intensity is kind of too rough for me. So
okay. Do you think that your smoking affects this?
Yeah, I would probably say that that's one of the biggest reasons why. I don't really spend the time to focus on exercise, and I think that it's because I know I won't be able to do well in it, and I think that's probably related to my smoking.
Okay. Now, is there any let's talk about the cons and the pros and cons of smoking.
Okay.
So what would be your pros of smoking?
It just kind of gives me something to do. It calms me down, and I always feel like my mind is racing with all these thoughts, especially when I was going through the depression. Smoking was just kind of something to get my mind off of it. So I think that's probably my biggest thing. It's just having something to do and having something to focus on that's not my depression problems.
Okay, now what would be the cons?
Obviously, I just got diagnosed with COPD, so I'd be afraid that would get worse if I kept smoking. My clothes smell bad. That's always a constant problem. And I have a really close relationship with my niece, and my brother, he doesn't let me be anywhere near her if I'm smoking. So we had a bad fight about that because I was smoking in front of her. And with dad smoking growing up, it's just he sees the effect that it can have. So my dad actually died from lung cancer, so that's also another con I can see where smoking can lead to. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's this ruler for readiness ruler. What would you say 0 to 10 of that your readiness to change? 0 is not now, and 10 is now.
Since this is the first time I'm kind of talking about it, I would say probably a 2. I'm kind of afraid to quit right now just because it's something I've relied on for so long, and I've already had so many problems with my depression. I feel like another change in my lifestyle might kind of throw me back into that.
Okay.
But obviously I do understand it's important to quit, so I think my importance level would be probably a 3. So I still don't fully understand it, how the body works and all that with smoking, but I know it affects your lungs, and I know it's making me tired and sick, so I know it's important to change. I just don't know if I'm there yet.
Well, that's what some of the stuff that we can talk about today. So
okay.
Maybe we can increase your motivation and even think about things that would increase your motivation to not smoke and the importance of it. So
yeah, I guess I worry that I won't be able to, and if I see myself as a failure, it's just slipping back into that depression that I was already in. So I just am afraid to fail.
Right. But I wouldn't look at it as failing. Look at it just more as what are the pros and what motivates me, and the things that you get to do without smoking rather than the things that you don't get to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Seeing my niece is definitely probably one of the biggest motivators that I have, besides my own health. Having a relationship with her is really important to me. So I don't have any kids of my own, so I kind of live through her as
Right.
getting to be like a caring person for someone. So
Mhm.
I feel like if I can care for myself, then I can care for her more, and that's something that's important to me.
Are there any other like hobbies or interests that you would like that say maybe, you have a issue with that when you're bored and you don't have anything to do, how about go for a walk or maybe
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy outside, especially because it's starting to get nice now. That's something that I would definitely do.
take up a class? Do you like any classes, cooking, dancing?
Yeah, I love cooking. That's actually a really good idea too. These are things that I would have never probably thought of on my own. So hopefully, if I ever could quit, I could maybe start exercising and stuff too.
Yes.
Try and get myself healthy.
So you also talked about that you don't really know what smoking does to you. You see that smoking has caused some of your COPD, your shortness of breath. It does affect the lungs, but it can also affect the rest of the body with your vascular system. That eventually you could probably have hypertension, and that could lead to cardiac problems with your heart.
Okay.
So it's not just the lungs, but are seeing the lungs now.
Yeah, I guess now it's just focusing on what I feel, but looking at the big picture of things does open my eyes up, and that's good to know.
So can we negotiate a plan?
Yeah, I would like that. I'm good with structure, so if I can have something to follow, then that would be good.
Okay, now we talked about some of the things about maybe taking up a class and doing cooking. And is there anything else that interests you? Maybe do you have any friends? You could talk with the buddies that you've made through your depression treatment.
Yeah, I'm
groups
definitely
and-
going to keep my relationships with them. Maybe scheduling like a dinner date or something like that to get me out of the house, because my house is like the place where I'm always alone, and I just feel like I need to smoke when I'm there. So getting myself out, I feel like would be helpful.
Okay. And also maybe cleaning out your house of things that remind you of smoking, cigarettes, ashtrays, even something as simple as, maybe a chair that you always go to smoke in. Just kind of disconnecting that connection and putting something else new into your life.
Yeah, I think that would be difficult for me, but it's something that I'm open to.
And maybe your brother could help you, that he would help
Yeah,
motivate you.
he would get on me about it. So if I talked to him about it, he would definitely push me to do that. So.
Is there any other family members that would help you, motivate you?
I'm really only close with my brother. My dad passed away, and my mom's not really been around. So me and my brother, though, are very close. So what he thinks, I tend to follow. So if he can get me on board, then I feel like he'd be a really good role model.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And we'd also like to set up an appointment so that maybe like in 2 or 3 weeks we can use that as like the quit date. So you can use these 2 or 3 weeks to maybe clean out your house and get motivated and focused on quitting. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, I think that's something I would be open to.
Okay. So when would a great time be?
Let's shoot for 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, after this talk, has any, like your readiness to change, has that maybe like gone higher or?
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely opened my eyes up to things, and I actually am considering it now. So I would say I'm at about a 5 for readiness. So, but in only these few short minutes, it's helped me come a long way.
Okay, great. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
All right, thank you.